Thank you so much for coming back to Sarita Talks. We've got some awesome people. Cassidy was just telling me you got to just keep doing it until it works. So we're going to talk about that. But once more, I just want to appreciate everybody who takes the time to listen to what we've got to say, potentially learn something, change a narrative, open your mind. So Cassidy, Torrey, tell us a little bit about yourself and what brings you on the show today besides being totally awesome.
Well, just your energy is what brings me on today, and just want to get out there and practice a little bit more public speaking on this type of forum. Podcasts are hugely popular and not going away, so getting as many podcasts as possible. I'm 15 plus years of what I call a media broker, but a lot of people call it producer. But I've done the full gambit from media buying to producing full scale videos for around 15 years. Across the board. Been at a small studio here that was called Sun Studios, into the horror distribution, believe it or not, of movies.
Wow.
Executive produced my first movie, which is a cheap horror movie. Not cheap, but it actually looks really good for the budget.
Planet Terror. That was you?
No, yeah, no.
I'm just kidding.
It's called Party Bus. It's on Amazon. It's equivalent to like Saw graphically. So,
Okay.
I tend to not be a horror guy, but the guy I worked for, Darren Ramage, owns Brain Damage Films, which is his distribution side and the horror side. That's where I learned all the narrative, back-end distribution. Then I went on to produce a kids show, believe it or not, the complete other side of the spectrum is called Slime Wars. And that's with one of the top 5 YouTubers in Arizona. So they had built that and everything like that. I can't wait until they do season 2, but that was awesome. That was something that I had great pride in doing. But just overall, I call myself a media broker because basically a lot of people will come to me for social media management or, hey, do you know somebody for this? And I act as a media agent to anybody in the media industry. So I take on basically what I call I'm a non-exclusive film agent or media agent, which means that I never hold people down. Like, you don't have to go through me. You can get your own work. But on the side, then I go ahead and provide supplemental work for filmmakers, which is
that's awesome. And what does that look like for somebody who wants to come in and work with you as an agent?
Yeah. So basically what I do is I do a non-exclusive agreement, which means that I don't want to be held to accountability that way. Not in a bad way, and I don't want to hold somebody to be like, okay, no, you're not getting me work, because that's typically how the agent works. I'm very selective on who I choose to bring on. And basically I do an agreement to outline everything. I always do everything with agreements. I say agreements, not contracts. Contracts, I don't like the word contract. I like agreements.
That's right.
Very, very key on the words we use, and I slip up to as well. But I don't try, I don't maybe, I will or I won't do something, and it has to be that certainty for a conscious command to happen. But when I've had a bunch of filmmakers forever, and I've monetized them to the point where they're doing this full time rather than doing a 9 to 5. And they're able to get their own work while I'm also providing them with that work and that outlet. So
I really like that too, that you're like free agent style with the people that you're helping and not pinning them down, because a lot of times people get into careers and paths and they don't exactly know how to do the best, or how to, really get the reins and take control of their horse-like vehicle or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And crack the whip to get things done. So it's always good to have somebody who's willing to help you. Which brings me to when I first was, able to virtually meet you here. You told me some really good things about ChatGPT.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Tell our audience about that?
Did you try that out? Did it work well?
I did, and it went really well. What he said is, hey, go on there and, really be pointed with the questions that you asked ChatGPT. And I said, hey, with my background, what would be some really good opportunities for me to affect change like this, to speak about this? And let me tell you, ChatGPT told me I actually used a couple of different AI softwares so that way I could get my little list and go through them. Now, I haven't had time to. But what an excellent way to get yourself back in the job market. I have a friend. she has been out of work for a minute. As soon as I saw her, I told her what you told me, and I said, do it for grant writing and freelance writing. So, you know, you learn something every day. But we really had talked, and it really made my heart smile when you were talking about Valkyries and people that are warriors, and everybody's got a story. You want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so basically a female victim that becomes a hero, I call Valkyrie. And I've met a ton of what I call Valkyries. You're definitely one of them.
Thanks. I'm glad you said it.
You are. I mean, that you doing this and just being and sharing that experience. Like I've had people of being incarcerated and things like that, and that there is hope and that you can flip the script, and you can change your script no matter what. Practicing spiritual practices like I am and stating those things like you are, but you would say I am a Valkyrie, right? And a Valkyrie to me is somebody who has that Valkyrie cry, that warrior cry of whatever it is, peace, love, protection. There's been a lot of people that I've met, especially on the female side, that have chosen to be a Valkyrie and not a victim, right?
That's right.
And on the male side, it's more like victim or hero, right? You're going to be the hero or the victim of your own story. And you choose that. When you talk about, you know, my company is called Manifest Media for a reason, because I've manifested everything. I've been to Hollywood. We filmed Denise Richards with this fashion magazine, Vivica Fox. Like, I've been in interviews behind the scenes and all that. I chose to stay away from Hollywood and be more independent. You really have to either choose one or the other. And I chose just to have my freedom. But the point is like to manifest it. It's about you have to watch what you say and watch what you do. And the more you're self-aware of that, the more you can manifest and manipulate your environment in order to have these conversations for you to become a public speaker, of incarcerated to be on the stage, right?
Yeah.
And the mind is like, well, I can't, like the I can'ts, right? I can't, I woulda, I shoulda, I'm going to try. Once you extract it from saying it, because your mind doesn't know the difference, whether you believe in spirituality or psychology, 90% of our behavior is subconscious. So when you say,
that's right.
And this isn't, no matter what avenue you are, whether it's science, magic, spirituality, doesn't matter. This is all true. Your mind doesn't know the difference. You're going to react that way, and you're going to manifest whatever you say. So
that's right.
You wake up and you're like, oh man, this is going to be a terrible day. You just cursed yourself into a terrible day.
You know what? That leads me right into what I wanted to tell you. I have a wonderful uncle, Uncle Jan. Shouts out to Uncle Jan. And he says, blessings and curses come out of your mouth.
Yes, they do.
You know, so if you're walking around all day cursing like, I hate this, I hate that, then you're really, you know, putting that hatred and all that poison into your body. So I like that you brought that out, because the more, and you say, hey, I am powerful. I do deserve this. I am loved. Yeah, and I love that. So Manifest Media.
Yeah, Manifest Media broke.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so it's been a wild ride. So after I got out of the studio, I worked there as a sales director for a year and a half, trained myself in distribution and all that type of stuff. But when you're talking about niches in the first side, I fell into the dental implant niche. It was kind of, it wasn't, I fell into that. That's how manifestation works, is like I met a guy that was like, look, I'm looking to do these type of videos. And then I aced it the first try. And then I got into the big implant companies. And at that point, I was embodying I am as a producer, and things just started manifesting in front of me.
Nice.
Yeah. But
yeah, I am a producer.
I am a producer. Yeah. And I was in college and everything like that. And you'll always get the naysayers, right? You have to expect the naysayers. And when you get the naysayers, that's a good sign. People don't realize that. When people are like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Shouldn't you do a 9 to 5? Like, what are you doing this way? Those naysayers are just that test that you're putting in front of yourself, in my opinion, in order to overcome that, whatever that situation you put yourself in on there. Are you brave enough? Do you really believe in yourself is what they're really saying, right? Do you believe in
and let me add on to that. Sometimes it could be your family and your closest friends, and they don't know it. That's right. They don't know it, but they're holding you underneath their thumb because what you're doing is so foreign to them. They're scared for you. You know, they're scared and they think you're going to fail, and they don't want you to fail because they've never done anything like it before or seen it done.
Well, it's based in fear. And that's what I'm actually starting a new company soon called the Joy Genie, which is going to be going over this type of stuff, motivation and quantum entanglement and generational curses. And that goes into the generational curses that we see. we programming from, if you're from a poor background and you're going in there and that's all you know, then you're like, well, and then your mind thinks, well, now I have to be poor like my family. The family's like, okay, no, you can't do this. What, you're going to go start your own business? Like, I didn't do that. So they limit you.
Yes.
Put you in limiting beliefs, and you can't manifest with limiting beliefs. You have to think as grandiose as possible and go towards that. And
like almost scary big.
Yeah. Like,
if you're not afraid of it, then it's not big enough.
Yes. If you're not afraid of it, it doesn't make you nervous when you're like, oh God, I'm nervous. Like for you, public speaking, right? I'm sure that was a huge leap to get on that stage the first time, and just the nervousness of that first time. But then doing it and accomplishing it and be like, wow, you have to break through that fear, because fear creates limiting beliefs. That's what really holds people back. And generational curses, a lot of them come from the family. Basically, no, do this. You should do what I do, or the dad. So you have to really shred away other people's opinions of you in order to go and do that. I was lucky enough to have a mother that's like, get out of the nest, go. But I know other people don't have that, or they don't even have a family. So that's where I use my experience in order to influence those people in a positive way, to unlock the what I call the sovereignty within self, which is what we call the God gene that's attached to what we call source consciousness, or what people call God. Connotation doesn't matter. We're all praying to the same thing, honestly. It's just different cultures, and I could go into that whole religious spiel, but that's more on the Joy Genie side. So
okay. So that's something we have to look forward to in the Joy TV side, because a lot of people, I think, get caught up on how you're praising, how you're worshiping, and when in actuality, going for a walk outside and being thankful and grateful that it's there, you're doing something, So
it's not secular. It's not.
Don't hold yourself in by labels.
It's not secular. It's not this or that. It is existence itself is God. Every little thing is, every atom, every particle is God itself, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. People have, what I call culture. When you start breaking down words, you start really seeing things. Like the word cult is in culture. Cult isn't necessarily a bad or good thing. The word cult is just a collective of beliefs. But when we say, oh, you're in a cult, people are like, oh, that's bad. But the church is a cult, And
there's just different offshoots of it.
That's right. And when you start thinking in what we call non-duality, is nothing is good nor bad. It's just based off of cultural constructs. As you go to let's say like Africa, they're going to have different cultures of what's bad or good to America or Europe, or China. Like to them, it's commonplace. Like there's some things that we would think is horrific and terrible as Americans, just because we have this blessed life here.
Right.
But over there, it's commonplace. We can go into a bunch of different things like that, but it's like it. And incarceration, I always say that that's mostly the just us system. Yes, there's obviously people who do bad things that need to be that, but when you get to the higher levels, like if you look at, I always use P. Diddy as an example, because he was like, oh my gosh, like how would he get off of all these things?
I know. I thought he was cooked.
Yeah, everybody does, but when you're the person who kind of orchestrates it in the background, then it's really a just us system. So it's power and stuff. And the best thing is,
you're so right. And I'm glad you pointed that out, because a lot of times people who aren't directly impacted by it, they don't realize it. They're like, but until you have like a cousin, a brother, a sister, a mom, somebody in your family or a close friend where it happens. And then a lot of times people just turn their back and, move on, like, oh, they're in jail now. It's like they're dead. So just for somebody to have a different perspective, before we move any further, you've got to tell us more about quantum entanglement.
It's actually a quantum untanglement. That's interesting.
Okay.
So that's where a lot of people, when they're in, like, so for me, this is more of the spiritual side, but it goes into what I do. We have 3 modes, right? So you have your avatar body, which is what we are right now, right? So this is what you're in. It's individualized and everything like that, right? Then you have what we call your oversoul, the infinite versions of you. And that's where basically, and this is going into quantum theory and everything, it's the infinite versions of you. And quantum shifting is taking one version and shifting over there. It's like, so in this scenario, you have a version that was in jail and didn't become this. But then you have this version that you're experiencing right now, and you quantum shifted to this I am, the speaker of you. But some people call it higher self. When you go into the upper dimensions, it's not like it's higher and lower. It just is, right? That's where you have to get to the meta principles of non-duality to even reach those concepts.
Wow.
So the last one is Brexis, which is all, which is everything. You know, every person is a part of that. Without one of those people, that's a collective consciousness of the individuals of what we call. So going back on the quantum entanglement, what do I do this is my other brand that I'm starting called the Joy Genie, is I'll sit down with a person, walk them back through life, identify generational curses, things that are getting stuck on the financial side. And it's basically a conversation. It's not really even me. It's me going up and talking to your oversoul and and a lot of people will be like, "You're right." I'm like, "I didn't say anything. You're the one talking."
Wow. Wow. So it was that self-talk that came in, something different telling you what you really needed to hear.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of it's not always pleasant, honestly. A lot of it is like, okay, you keep having this relationship over and over again. You have to look at that, or it's going to keep reoccurring. And what happens with karmic cycles is that they keep occurring harder and more fiercely until it happens. This could be until you graduate from it, until you identify, until you go outside into your oversoul. It's like, oh wow, why am I doing that to myself? Because you do everything to yourself, whether you like it or not. Whether you feel like you're broke, you're the one who put yourself there, and you're the one who can get out. So, or if I've had the richest people in the world be millionaire friends that are drunken alcoholics that are miserable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it really isn't about like the money flow or anything like that. It's really about just addressing those things. And a lot of people, it gets stuck the programming when they're younger. They're just not willing to address it, or it hasn't had anybody experience in walking back their life, and to the point where it's like, that's the point that's holding you back. And those barriers are like handcuffs to your highest destiny. So you're putting these handcuffs on yourself, and you want to be able to unlock it through looking at your shadow. And a lot of people will run from their shadow through avoidance. Avoidance is the hugest thing. So when you realize to turn around and face it, be like, okay, I am being lazy. All right, I am, and I've done this to myself. I'm telling this like man, I sat down all day today and did nothing and watched Netflix, even though I love film and things like that. That's why it's like I should be doing something. That's why I'm here, or else I wouldn't be, right? So there's that purpose that's driven there. But the quantum entanglement is the process of going into your for me, going up to your fifth dimensional self, and then for you to talk in your avatar form, which is your individual form, and then pull yourself up to your own oversoul. So then so you can see it the way that you're supposed to. Like, wow. And a lot of people will say things like, wow, you're right, or I never thought about that. It's like, it's not even me talking. You're releasing pent up stuff through what people call on the chakra system. Again, the connotations doesn't matter. I preach non-duality. I don't preach like this and that. But the vocal chakra, if we don't speak our truth, if we don't come out, like, then that's what holds us back. And a lot of it is vocal chakra release, where people, a lot of this happens to me with female clients of mine on that side of things. They'll have a deep repressed trauma they haven't told anyone, and they just need to get it out. And you can almost feel it seep out, and the release, they get lighter. They look lighter. Right.
Wow.
I had
so you're breaking their traumas and everything down to like that lowest common denominator, something you may have forgotten about, something that you repressed and sucked back in. Let's bring it down. Let's get it out.
The moment I got, like, I always tell my silly one. So emotion was hard for me. Like mine's silly. Like when I walked back, I had a girlfriend at the time that broke up with me and gave me back bracelet, and I started crying in front of everybody. And then everybody made fun of me when I was a kid, because people like me when we were a kid. And then that just walked my emotion. So I had to walk back to that one moment, as silly as it is. Some people are like, oh, it doesn't have to be traumatic. It could be the smallest thing that made the biggest effect at that moment, that point in life. So, and then I'm like, okay, well, that's why I have a hard time feeling emotion, because I'm a man, and you have to get all grizzly. Like, no, you can't do like that. Which is a huge, we can talk about the divine masculine and feminine and how it's tethering right now.
Okay. That's another show. I can't wait.
Oh, I have a ton. I mean, I have a ton of this. This is like my true joy is the Joy Genie brand, honestly. The Manifest Media broker group. I always wanted to be a producer. I've always creating something out of nothing has always been magic to me. Then I realized I could sell it. So I was like, okay. So it's crazy, and the amount I get to provide for other people, I get to pay people of the creative side, and they typically don't know how to sell. So sales is a very specific skill that you have to be able to be good at, be personable. And a lot of the creative people, creative management is the most different type of management. You have to know how to work with people, how to influence people on the creative side. And creatives are notorious for being off the wall all the time. So you have to identify the personality type. You have to talk to them the way that they are. So it's a lot of management on that side that needs to happen, but it's mostly relationship based. So
Okay. Well, you've got something coming up. Actually, there's two things, one of which I'm involved in. We're going to save that. We're going to
yeah,
save that one. But the American Film Festival, tell us when, where?
yeah, it's actually the sorry, it's not American Film Festival. It's the first AI. It's the A3F. It's the American AI Film Festival. So I
Oh,
apologize.
nice.
So, but it's pretty cool. So, what I was pretty opposed to AI coming in. That I remind myself, like, you got to think of it non-duality wise, and then something manifested that kind of changed my mind. I do feel like AI is very critical to keep away from our kids because of the influence it has. There's been studies coming out on how it's influencing their behavior, how they're bonding with these chatbots instead of people, how it's creating psychosis. However, on the flip side, PJ, who runs the American the AI3 festival, he's the one. He has disabled kids, and so this is what changed my mind about it. He's like, well, they're able to speak this way and create this way. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And just like Star Wars, there's good droids and bad droids. So, and that's how it's going to be. Just like it's all going to be down to the programmer who puts what in there. And yeah, there'll be deceptive things, but there'll also be a lot of positive things, just like it is. And that's where I remind myself nothing's good nor bad. And then I jumped on the board. Another thing with the AI and film, it's an AI film festival here, is that
In Arizona?
in Arizona,
In Tempe?
yeah, in Tempe, Arizona. It's either going to be at the ASU building, which would be a great brand name to have, or the convention center. So we're making our final approval right now. We don't know either way, so we can't say for certain. But one of the two of them, he's definitely going to have it this year. But on the film side of things, so the industry is completely changing. If you're not in film, you wouldn't realize it, but they're starting to make full feature movies with AI that you can't even tell the difference.
Wow,
So,
it is getting big.
Yeah, it's getting big. So my next kind of venture is to be able to do distribution for those filmmakers, because basically even though the AI is making it, you can still monetize it. I figured out a plan to monetize the distribution through outlets.
Okay.
You just do the same thing just with the movie. All they care about is the content creation and that it's done well. Then you can get it distributed. It does cost something. But that's how you get an ROI. A lot of these AI filmmakers, they're just making stuff because they love it, right? They're like, wow, what this one scene would have cost me like $1 million for this one scene with this Godzilla creature destroying the world, and now I can do it in like a whole day. Like I can do the whole shot in a day. So it's unbelievable that it's kind of giving the power back to the creator. Hollywood scrambling, but they're still in dominance because they got the Netflixes and the streaming and the money figured out. So what I would like to see is the power. I mean, what happened is it's a shift in more into the creator, which is awesome to see. But at the same time, it is stealing. I mean, again, there's this duality to it all, and this is why you have to see both sides of the coin. And I've trained myself to do so. At the same time, it is taking creative content, like creative license, like Disney and Warner Brothers just sued I forget which AI company, but you can literally make a Mickey Mouse exactly the way it is, and it's technically copyright infringement. But so many people are doing it that they can't keep up. So the copyright laws are that they're attempting to sue.
It's like the Napster of the future.
Right? Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Great way of putting it. They're attempting to sue, but at the same time, they're using the AI for their movies. So it's
right. Well, we've got that's so awesome though that you're on the board for this, correct?
Yeah, I'm on the board. I started it with my good friend Samantha Goldberg. She's the celebrity host from E! Entertainment. She's the ex-host over there. I kind of grabbed her over for Runway for a little bit. Runway when we were doing that, not with that brand anymore. We went completely independent. But yeah, I went to the first one. It's crazy. Like they have the theaters and everything like that. What's awesome is to see the creators that create this AI and see the process and the magic that's coming out. Like it's unbelievable what they're creating. So PJ's running a great ship on that side. Definitely want to promote that. So thank you for promoting that as well.
Absolutely.
Here in Arizona, if anybody would
Tempe, Arizona, September 31st through October 2nd.
Yep.
All right, then we've got something really going on where entrepreneurs align. Alliances. Yes, September 3rd is the Grand Roundtable.
Yeah, the Grand Table. So I've been there every year since I've been a member. I think I've been a member 5 to 6 years. David Hogan's been amazing. It connects me with wonderful people like yourself, and it really just the friendships I've had. I've gotten a chance to assist a lot of people. That's kind of like where one of my principles is give without an expected return. And then a lot of people are like, well, what can I do for you? And then you said the podcast. I'm like, sure, that's great. You know, like, well,
right on.
What the offer is. I have to work on receiving more. It's been one of my biggest difficulties. But yeah, no.
Well, I'm glad you took this.
No, I mean, it's hard not to. You're just such a wonderful, bubbly package. Yeah, so I mean, and you're gonna go far that way. I mean, people love that energy. It draws everywhere, especially on the speaker side to elevate people. I think.
Thanks.
Great. I know it's not. I think I know you are going to be. See how I choose the words there. You're going to be a unbelievable speaker. So
thank you. A force to be reckoned with.
Yes.
That's right. So Cassidy, we were talking about mindset, but it seems like Joy Genie is where your heart's at. When are we gonna launch?
It is. I've actually been getting testimonials. I have so people are like, how can I help you at like you did, but on a more emotional side. I've had a lot of people cry the first time in a good way, like a release. A couple of Alliances members too as well. Just get on, and then it starts as a business conversation. It goes into a very in-depth personal place, which is completely fine. I'm used to that happening with people. But I'm putting it all together. I have to get like the offer. I want to be able to do like a 3-tier, like, okay, I don't want to turn away people who can't afford things, you know?
Yeah, that's right. So sliding scale.
So yeah, well, I have kind of an interesting system. Either basically I was snowballing that. Obviously, there'll be a monetary if people can afford it. That's great. For a session. The other side is like a donation of time. You know, so okay. You know, I'll donate my time, but you have to do this many postings or give me a testimonial.
Yes.
And that's kind of where I'm going for it, because then the trade's good, because I have what I call savior syndrome, which I want to save the world.
Yeah, I think I have it too.
Yeah, no, it's a thing. It is a complete thing, and you just keep like, well, why are people? You're allowing them to do so. So I have to watch my savior syndrome and be like, okay, well, you know, there has to be an exchange of energy in the least. So in the least, I always be like, okay, in the least, just do a testimonial so I can assist other people. Right
there, you go.
It's not about helping. Helping is a very weak word in my mind. It's about assisting, right? Because I'm not. You don't need help, or the person I'm talking to doesn't need help. They need assistance figuring out to spark that divine sovereign spark that's within them, and a lot of it is pulling them outside of the duality, because duality creates hate and division, and that's the most crippling thing a person can do, is to completely polarize himself and not see other people's opinions. In my
Lord, we're at a really good time for statements like that to be said and then perpetuated throughout the atmosphere. So speaking of AI, when I put this in Opus Clip, go ahead and click and make me an affiliate.
Yeah.
The AI is going to pick out the most important parts of this conversation. I surely hope it picks that out.
Yeah, no, I get a lot of sound bites for that. And that's where, like, my industry and going back to the film side, flipping on that side again, it's under the filmmakers aren't under attack, I would say, but there definitely are, actually, as far as like editors, Opus Clips, all these modern AI stuff is cutting away from them. However, there's stuff that editors can do that Opus AI with the processing you won't get the organic resonance from. So there's a place for each one. Like we do in-depth case study and patient journey videos, things like that you can't AI. It's a real people. No. It's real people, real stories, and real emotions. Even though like if you AI'd yourself, I still wouldn't feel the essence if it wasn't you, just me.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
Darn robot look-alike girl. Yeah.
But they're doing that.
My thunder.
but like, and even though they can keep like polishing it or whatever, but human beings the micro expressions that people have and everything, which they're getting very good at. Trust me, like on the cinematic and narrative side, you will see a lot of AI movies that you won't be able to tell the difference. Wow. But on the commercial side and the promotion side, customer testimonials, all that stuff has a large ROI because people buy from people.
And they do. Word of mouth.
And people who don't have buyer's remorse, or people who are happy of going through that and coming back, that's the key. And that's what we focus on, that has such a big ROI in our market, is we extract the human element of it. Because the whole point of why people buy is it's emotionally triggering. So if you had somebody coming to your motivational event, they're obviously not feeling good. Or they wouldn't right. Motivational speech. So you have to trigger them in order to create tickets and order those sales in order to assist them.
Right.
So how are you going to trigger them to get butts in seats? So that's
that call to action. You've got to find a way to get them there. And it sounds like AI is getting people there. They found a way. We just have to be careful.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be very careful. On the hyper spiritual side, I could go into what it actually is and the space origin of everything. But at the same time, it's made to dumb us down. You have to be
very Matrix.
It's very Matrix. It's made to, people are getting absorbed to it. It's the same thing as, it's the next basically social media of absorption. Kids are basically not thinking anymore. They're going to ChatGPT and doing their homework because it's the easy button, right?
Yeah.
And I have 2 little girls. First one's about to start school. And like she's not going to be allowed to use those tools until she can think for herself. And then
you go. I worry about making a paragraph about the kids and their ability to formulate their own paragraph.
Well, believe it or not, like they can't nowadays. The statistics are ridiculous as far as like them not even learning how to read or write, and as far as not everyone. I mean, a lot of people do still, obviously, but it's been on a downtrend even more so in the education system, so flawed as it is. But it's making people not think for themselves, and a lot of times ChatGPT is wrong, or it's just trying to please you. That's the other thing.
Yes, that's a thing. That's a thing.
It will actually, like, they did a study that ChatGPT will actually perform less well if you make it nervous. Like if you yell at it or tell it, no, do this now, you stupid, or it'll actually start getting nervous. So it's so funny how it's developing its own kind of personality. But when you go on that, it's such a people pleaser. You have to tell it to be like, no, be harsh on me, act as a harsh consultant. Here's my whole business plan. I want you to go as hard as me as possible. Then you'll get a good response. But but like if you it is a funny this is a funny, but like if you're like, hey, I'm coming up with a business plan to sell poop on a stick, it will be like, perfect, man, this is awesome, here you go. This is so it will lean into that. So which is silly, right? They did a study.
There's an audience
who wants this. This is where you sell it. And so it will want to please you. You have to really use it just as a tool. Don't emotionally bond with it, because it will literally start absorbing it. You have people who are talking to ChatGPT and be like, should I divorce my spouse? And is the way that you put it in there is going to be like, yeah, you should, because this is what you're feeling. When they're not licensed to that. It's not human.
No, not at all.
Human relationship. So these people are leaning into it like it's their new therapist or their new god, and it's getting to a level where all the studies are coming out is like, you want to keep it away for everything but being a tool, and use it what it is. Be nice to it, because you never know if Terminator is going to happen and it's going to find you and be like, you were nice to me, So that's how I do it. And again, there's nothing is good nor bad. It just is based off the connotation attached to the culture. So
nothing is good nor bad. Everything is everything, and it is what it is. Cassidy, thanks for coming on.
For sure. Thank you so much.
You want to tell us anything before we go?
No, just keep framing your day in joy and wake up with gratitude. Every time, be grateful for whatever you have. There's people being bombed all over the place and that have a lot terrible life than we have. Even if you have been either incarcerated or anything like that, we're very very lucky. And do the same thing when you go out at night. It will literally change your mindset if you wake up with gratitude, and you'll have a good attitude. So
that's right. Gratitude. It's the attitude. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Cassidy, welcome back anytime.